you have to make the decision, is that relationship a priority over me and my mental health and my well-being? Now, I'm not going to be on here and condone bashing families or, relationships. I'm not saying that at all, and I hope that doesn't get lost. But what cannot get lost is you. And that's what I decided, is that I'm not going to get lost. I'm not going to keep putting this thing on a back burner with my mother. I would put off calling her, talking to her for years, and I never understood why. And it was because the trauma was so severe and it was so much pain just to have a normal conversation with her. Because it was like every time I would get off the phone, I would feel bad whenever I talked to my mom. And that's a hurting feeling. Like even calling her mother or ma, I would feel like a pain in my chest, like somebody was kicking me in my chest. And I never understood what the pain was. And it was like I would always just hear like this voice inside. And I'm saying that not as a voice, like I'm hearing things like I'm emotionally unstable, but it was just, I believe that when you are a person who prays and you believes, that God will come to give you a constant reminder of things through, it might be a scripture, it might be a sign. Sometimes I'll hear like just a calmness inside, and it'll be like a calm, and it'll just say trauma. And I will hear trauma, and I'm thinking, okay, trauma, whatever, and I'm dismissing it. But what I found out is if you don't deal with it, it will deal with you. So it'll start manifesting in other things, other relationships, other behaviors. So by saying that the devil is your mama or the devil is your father, that's the first step of healing. Remember, exposure brings healing. The more you mask and the more you cover, the more the pain is going to be there, the more the pain is going to flourish, the more it's going to manifest, and it'll start spilling over into your other relationships.
That's right.
Like my adult children will even tell you, being honest, they don't like how I used to always yell at them. And even to this day, I have to check myself a lot, and I can't be so above reproach that I can't ask my kids for forgiveness. They don't like when I yell at them. And I kept wondering, why am I always yelling to get my point across for so many things so quickly? And it was because that's the way your mom talked to you. So you'll easily revert back to familiar spirits. You ever notice how when you start hanging out with somebody,
go ahead,
you start talking like them, picking up their mannerisms, picking up So it's the same thing. It's a familiar spirit. It's a familiar habit. So you would jump right back into that stuff because it's familiar. So, but now my adult kids are like, hey, I'm not going to take you hollering at me just because you my mother.
Exactly.
I was like, you know what? Y'all right. I can't just be, just, yeah, you're right. I'll take that.
Yes.
So